what do you expect to see in a portfolio when interviewing for a junior role?
Yeah, so if you think about the spectrum, a junior role is, can you take a brief, and it's really strong on the executional and the hard skills, and as you move up to leadership, it's more on soft skills. So for a junior role, being able to share the portfolio, I'm looking at the work itself. I want to see, like, can you frame up what the brief was and what you did, and looking for the quality of the work, what that is. The second thing is just, I can't hire without seeing evidence of AI tool use. I just can't. That is so incredibly important right now, because I want people to be set up for success. And I'm doing all of this change management internally to get people onto those tools, that I'm not going to go out to market and not have somebody that's there or better than my team. So depending on the role, I'm looking for evidence of those hard craft skills. Now, with a portfolio as well, I like when they take us through the portfolio. I want to hear, can you articulate the brief and the customer problem? They may or may not have an idea of how it impacted the business, but I want them to take them through, me through their process. And again, checking the level of thinking of, like, did you have to make any pivots? Did you have to make any choices?
Mm-hmm.
Can you express any of the trade-offs? And then I think it's really important, just adults learn through reflection. So I'd always ask people, if you were to do this again, what would you have done differently? And in that process, I get to see how they communicate. Can they time manage sharing their portfolio? I might ask about some choices that are design choices in it, and just get them to articulate it. Also, you see very quickly then if they did do it from AI or it isn't their work. It becomes very, very clear when you start poking around in the work, seeing it. So yeah, it is more on the hard skills. I love them to talk through it so I can check for a few things. And yeah, I want to see where they are able to show how they leverage AI, because the pace of work is just quicker with it, and you need to have that fluency.
Yeah, excellent advice. I actually had a meeting Monday morning, did a call with someone who was asking for a review of their portfolio. And I think we spent most of the time talking about, how do we better communicate you, not just the outcome of your work, and how does that get shown in your portfolio? The point you just made then around AI evidence was very interesting. So in the research we just did, we found that AI usage was actually a lot less in 18 to 24-year-olds than it was in 35 to 44-year-olds, which was an interesting thing, because I think there's always this sort of view, which is that, new people bring fresh ideas into the industry. And I was on a panel in London recently, and that was one of the, like, why should we be hiring juniors if AI can do all the work? And someone had said, well, it's because they bring fresh new ideas. And I was like, I don't know if they are at the moment, because they're not getting taught it at university, and they're not really being shown what fresh means. And so that's a really hard thing as a junior to look at the moment. And if you can show that, that's why I think that question's so interesting. If you can show that you're leaning into what's coming, then, you're actually probably going to stand out compared to some of your peers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there is a nuance there on where you use it. So, I mean, I can take a big requirements document and make a prototype and present it as my own. And I'm seeing people being that lazy. So also I want to see, do you understand where it adds value? So if it's synthesizing a document of secondary research that is a less important task, fine. If there's something really important, like there's the output from AI, and you need to uplift it that last 20% and all the tweaking based on what you understand from the problem space, based on, some of the brand elements, based on what the client is asking for, based on, your taste of where it needs to go. You need to show that part as well. It's not just AI to do everything. You also need to know where it fits in that workflow, and where it saves you time for things that were lower value tasks, because I need to know that you have enough fluency to know where you need to spend your effort. Because that's actually the same choice a leader makes on, where do I spend my effort? Because I can't spend it everywhere. Where are the points that are where I add my special sauce? At any level in the creative field, you should also know where it really matters, and where you need to slow down and really sit there and make sure that you're polishing in that space. Someone was saying to me at a lunch the other day, I asked someone to write a creative brief, and I could tell they wrote it with AI and then didn't review it or read it. And they sent it to another colleague who I also know reviewed that and didn't look at it. And then they came to me and everyone went like this, and no one had actually looked at the thing. Now, that's just straight up laziness and you're not using your craft at all. And so I think we need to be wary of those things. You can make a lot of slop and degrade your quality of your work very, very quickly if you get to that point.
But that's also what sets you up for being replaced.
Yes.
If you literally outsourced it to that, then why wouldn't you just use that? You're not bringing you to the work.
Yeah, but I also put stock in those memes who say, hey, I can't, pick up coffee for everyone, pet the company dog, and distract 10 colleagues on their way to the desk. I think the good vibes also matter as well.
Yeah, they do. Anything you want to add in there, Ash?
No, I do think that sometimes, back to that fear of the AI taking over is like that 20%, I think that Tarra mentioned, being able to sort of see what AI can generate and then where you take that is, I think, really like signs of your capacity there. And so like understanding how to use the tools as best that you can to see what you might be able to add to it. But I think, Tarra, that was a good point, that you want people coming into the space who are already familiar and using these tools that are going to make effectively their work quicker and easier.